Okay, well, thank you very much, Darren, for arranging this. And it's been a while since I have spoken to a lot of shareholders. So, but we've now Goldstone has got to the stage that it's at. We can speak from a positive platform to be able to move forward. There's something I'm just going to say right at the beginning, though, because the stage that we are at, and we have been successful. I know we've had a lot of frustrated shareholders because we've taken so long, and it's frustrating for the people on the ground as well. But if I just give you just a little bit of a few facts, and I do remember this from when I was at mining college, we were always told that projects that are at the exploration stage and even getting to be more brownfield than greenfield, I think the figure was 1 in 5,000 get to actually be a producing mine. So we have actually done extremely well, the whole team here on the ground, at getting this company into production. And yes, we've had some ups and downs, and not just technical, but the biggest one was regulatory. And the other thing is that Ghana is blessed with all the major mining companies, and then you've got little Goldstone popping its head up above the parapet, and we've made it. We've got a big presentation coming up with the Chamber of Mines here, because we really are the first junior to bring a small mine into production. When I say junior miner, that is the junior miner with a mining lease. There are obviously lots of small-scale mining operators here in Ghana, as there are throughout the whole of Africa. But as a leaseholder, where we abide by all the regulations and laws, we are the first junior. So we're very pleased with where we've got. All the major miners are actually quite impressed with what we've done. And what we've got to do now is we've got to build from the platform that we've established, so that we can take the Goldstone mine into its next phase. So that's really where we are. And as I put in the last press release, it's not easy bringing a gold mine into production, and it's not. There are always things that will get in your way, and we have to manage those. And we have done it. Yes, we've done it on a minimum fundraise, I think, and we can only grow forward from there. So if there's anything else you want me to divulge into, Darren, but as you say, everybody on the call knows the Goldstone story. They've obviously followed us through and through. So if there's any questions you want to throw at me, then maybe we can go from there.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So I've got some questions that I've put together, which do actually cover some of the things that other people wanted to ask as well. Yep. I will let some other people chip in a minute if they want to. I think one of the guys, Bow, had a question. He'll probably ask in a minute. So obviously, yeah, great. I mean, you have achieved so much over the last year, and obviously with the pandemic and what have you, it's not been easy. And as you said, say 1 in 5,000 get to production. The odds are stacked against, I think, investors on the AIM circuit to actually get to that point. So I think it's a really good achievement. But I think, as I've discussed with you many times before, and I've also discussed with other people on sort of the Twitterati, has a main reason is because of the shareholder base. The key shareholders you've got, Bill,
yes,
RSL and BCN. So and obviously AIM's being supportive as well with the early cash flow issues, which any company's going to experience. So yeah, no, I think it's a big well done there. So question wise then, okay, first one for me is when do you plan the next gold pour? I think we're looking forward to gold pour 3, and what sort of frequency do you think that's going to happen throughout the rest of the year?
Throughout the rest of the year, we will be doing a gold pour every month, and we will be having another gold pour this month. We obviously had a bit of a catch up to do in January and February because we had to do all the test work for the remediation of the heaps. And as we stated in the press release, we've undertaken a lot of the remediation work, and we are putting that remediation work to work now, if that makes sense. Yep. And the results will be coming through this next couple of months, which is what it's all about. The key thing with the heap leach is it's it is slow on the uptake. We obviously realized that we'd misjudged some of the key minerals that make up this ore body, clay and silt being the bulk. But we've gotten through that. We now know how to treat those materials, and we can move forward. So gold pours, yes, we will be doing one every month. And will we be announcing every month? Look, most mining companies don't make an announcement every month, but I do appreciate with Goldstone, a lot of people would like to know that certainly through these next few months, they want to know that we're actually pouring gold. So whether we do that in as every month an operational update, or whether we just do it at the half yearly, I don't know yet. But I can assure you that there will be monthly gold pours.
Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. That's fine. In terms of Homase, then, so obviously, I think, if I'm correct me wrong, but you're in the south pit at the moment, and that's where you're mining, and that's where you're producing the gold from. Are you? What's your next phase on expansion of Homase? Is it expanding that pit, or is it moving to the north, so the central or northern?
Into the northern pits, right? Well, the Homase mine, as we call it, is a series of 5 pits, 5 shallow pits, all free dig. We do not do any drill and blast. What we have got at the moment is the first pit, which is, we know locally as the Kradua pit, because it's close to the Kradua village. And we have undertaken some drilling to see if we can extend that deeper. We're waiting for the results of that. We then have the second shallow pit, which is still on the southern flank of the Homase trend in our JORC resource. And we will be commencing operations into that towards the end of April, beginning of May. Then what we're doing in order to obviously plan for the future is we are now commencing the infill drilling on a third shallow pit, which is trending north, and we'll get those results through. All the drilling will hopefully be done within the next few weeks, and then the assays thereafter. But all in all, we'll need a couple of months to get that turned around. Now, if the infill drilling proves to be as positive as the infill drilling on the southern flank, then hopefully we will have some good news. What I should just remind everybody about is that I said that the Homase mine is a series of 5 shallow pits. The pit in the middle, the central pit, was the old Anglo Gold Ashanti pit that was mined in 2002, 2003. But we do include it because it has been mined out. Now, we are obviously reviewing that particular pit, because what sits beneath it is, we know there is a high-grade ore zone. What we've got to look at there is whether we're going to drill deep to prove what's there, or whether we do a different type of drilling campaign. But in terms of the life of mine for the Homase mine, we still have a series of two larger shallow pits. We have the option to go deeper, and that is everything that is being reviewed as part of our mine planning team at the moment.
Okay, great. And is that 20,000 ounce target for this year based on the South Pit mine plan alone?
The South Pit, yes, is.
So if you
hang on, no. When you say the South Pit, we've got 2 southern pits. I know that sounds ridiculous. So don't forget, the trend is we've got a series of 5 shallow pits, okay, with the old pit from Anglo Gold Ashanti in the middle. The 2 southern pits are what we are going to be basing our output on. Okay, so
well, I think where I'm coming from is that if you have success in the northern pit and what have you, as you're just touching on, would that, for example, allow you to expand that 20,000 target? Maybe not this year, but going into next year.
Going into next year, yes, that is correct.
Okay. And you did mention about your JORC resource a minute ago, and that was another thing. I know a while back you said you were going to look to update the JORC resource, partly because you've done a fair bit more drilling since then, plus you to other data as well. But the JORC resource currently hasn't been updated for, I think, for a few years.
Since 2012.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering whether you're going to update that at some point, because I'm assuming it might have increased from 600,000 ounces.
We will be updating it, and we were looking to do that really last year, but the big but is we obviously got a few hindrances with our the regulatory bodies here in Ghana not supporting our business plan to use a third party to treat our carbon. So obviously we had to realign our business plan. Now, where we are, and it is the reminder that one of the reasons why we got into production for the amount of money that we did was because that we didn't go this whole feasibility study. And the reason being is we set out a mineable resource based on and within the JORC resource. And because of that, we know the gold's there. We're doing a copy and paste of what AngloGold did back in 2002, 2003. And that is why we didn't improve that JORC resource a couple of years ago. Going forward, once we get the cash flow moving, we will be doing a lot more drilling. So I would like to say that we'd be looking to be upgrading our JORC resource, certainly in 2022. Okay.
Yeah. No, I get that 100%. I get what you've done. You've gone straight in and started mining and generating the free cash flow, and that's been the priority. And obviously, shall I say, administration and facts and figures haven't really been the priority, which is completely understandable, and actually what I prefer the Goldstone would have done. I guess sometimes investors like to look at a big round number and say, oh, that's what I'm investing in, in terms of things like JORC numbers, economics and things. But personally for me, I get exactly why you've done what you've done. So that's maybe something that comes a bit more downstream, I'm guessing. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's that on that. And then Akrokeri. So you've recently mentioned that you've started or are starting a drill program at Akrokeri, and I think most on the call know that's a pretty high grade, previously operating underground mine. I think back in 1905 or something.
It was.
Yeah. So what are your plans there then? Because obviously there was an underground mine. Are you planning to drill targets there to look at a different approach to mining the gold that's in that mine, or are you looking to reopen it as it was? What are you doing there?
The first thing is we really do have to have a review about whether or not we can access the old workings. We did try, as everybody knows, back in 2018. We did access the very first level of the old mine, but the ground conditions were that we really do need to spend a lot of money to refurbish that old shaft so that we could dewater the mine. What we're doing now is we're doing drilling and trenching along that trend. And one thing that hasn't been proved yet is that the mineral zone that the Akrokeri mine sits on, it is known that it is an extension of the Obuasi trend, which goes down to the AngloGold's Obuasi mine. But whether or not the mineral trend that Akrokeri is on joins the Homase trend is what all good geologists love, because it's proving up all their all their theories. So what we have embarked on is we're clearing an area now, and yes, look, where the old tailings were that's been in press releases, we're clearing areas where those are. So we are looking at the tailings still, and we're going to do a major trenching program around there to see what lies below. And then the drilling program is going to be starting. We're just waiting for the rig to arrive. It's supposed to be here today, but it's on its way. So as soon as we start that drilling program, look, then we can start to drill out what's there. The beauty of the old Akrokeri mine is the fact that it was formerly a mine, and we all know that there's a lot of these old mines, the old timers, they would only mine what they saw. So there should be a lot that they left behind. We do know that from the previous diamond drill programs that were carried out in the 90s. and the early 2000s, and we hope to be able to follow on from that one. So Akrokeri is still very much on our target, and we will be getting there and getting some news to shareholders soon.
And the other point there is that it was actually shut in due to water, wasn't it? So it was prematurely shut. It
did indeed, yes. It flooded due to an inrush of water, and we got that out from. Look, I've got some of the old mine managers' reports that I've managed to find in an archive, and it is quite interesting what was written there. They did have a lot of problems with security, but the problems with water was also quite high, and it was the water that got them in the end. There was an inrush of water, and look, the area is swampy, but we do obviously have bigger and better pumps nowadays, so that is something that we've got to watch. I mean, all the deep mines have water problems, so we've just got to manage it. But first of all, we want to get some drilling done so that we can actually start to prove up what's down there.
So let me ask you another question then. So given that you've got a lot going on at Homase, you know, it's been full steam ahead there and obviously very busy, and you're also expanding and doing other bits. Why are you moving and focusing on Akrokeri so quickly when you could actually say, you know, you've got enough to do in other areas? Is it because of what the potential grades on offer and what that could look like economically, or?
No, it's shareholder drive. And we can't just sit still on one project. We want to get that. We want to get going in Akrokeri, and look, it'd be great if we could get two operations going there. It may, you know, we don't know yet until we start looking. It may be that there's another opportunity for a shallow open pit there, which would have to be way south of the town or wherever, and that's why we have to do this exploration. What we don't want to sit still. We can't just sit still on one mine. We want to get more things going, Darren.
Okay. So let me ask one more question before I ask other people if they would like to ask a question. So anyone who does want to ask a question, you can ask after my next one. Giving you a little signpost there. In terms of risks, Emma, obviously there's been a heck of a lot of de-risking. You know, building the mine. You know, going through the permitting, getting the funding. Do you see any other immediate risks now to the operation, or just stabilising nicely, and you know, and a lot of the risk element that would be in, you know, there is now sort of, you know, reducing?
Look, technical risk reducing, as you said, and we've de-risked the project tremendously. The big risks now won't just be applicable to Goldstone, it's applicable to all mining companies. The key one, of course, is cost of power. We're all very familiar that there's a war going on in Ukraine, and the effect that it's having on energy prices, price of fuel, price of gas, etc. That also comes here to Ghana as well. Fuel costs have doubled, so we have to factor that in. People, you know, which is a big a significant step in our costs to produce the gold. The costs here in Ghana have probably risen just as much as the increase in costs in Europe. So it is no different. So the big risks are if the war continues, we've all got to watch our energy costs. That is the one big problem we've got.
Yeah. What about procurement, things like materials and stuff you need? Because I noticed another company went into suspension yesterday, W Resources, because their La Perilla mine in Spain, they just can't get. I think it's partly connected to a driver, an HGV issue out there as well. But they've been struggling to get parts and
struggling to get parts. I mean, this is actually still this is still a result of the COVID, because as we know, with all the factories that went down, spare parts, new plant and machinery, there is a waiting list. Look, fortunately, we're not a major mine, so we don't have a big fleet that we've got to cater for, and we do have contract miner, but it is coming through because our contract miner is struggling to get spare parts. So it's something we have to be mindful of. So yes. I haven't seen that company actually that's been suspended due to procurement issues. Look, it's something we've got to look at. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Michael Masterman. You might have heard of him. Michael Masterman's
Yes.
W Resources. Yeah, it's like a tin and tungsten mine in Spain.
It is indeed, yeah.
I think they've got a combination of issues, but as you say, COVID has put a lot of strain on the system anyway. And then you've got things like COVID in Hong Kong shutting down the ports there, and you know, it's a bit and a war to add into the mix, I suppose. Yeah.
There's a lot going on. Look, and then it's the general living costs as well. Ghana is no different to the rest of the world. We have to be mindful of that. You know, the grain is the big one. So you know, I've got people working for me, but I've got to feed the troops as well. And you know, even water in Ghana is almost doubled in price for a litre of water. So we have to be mindful of that. Cost is something we've all got to take care of.
Unprecedented times. Yeah. Okay. Great. That's pretty much all I had, apart from a couple of admin ones, which I'll leave for now. But anyone else? Bal, I think you had a question, or anyone else? If you have a question, just unmute yourself and fire away.
I've got a few. Thanks very much, Emma, for taking the call, and also Dan for organising it. And congratulations on hitting production. It's a massive achievement, and I know from my brief investor history into the space that not all not all explorers make it to production. So well done on that one.
Thank you.
So Darren's sort of stolen all the prize questions there. So I'll just maybe add a couple. The first was, I assume you're comfortable with sort of the loan repayment, given that the expansion is kind of going ahead, and also you're now spending money looking at Akrokeri. So you must be reasonably comfortable that the September deadline on the debt repayment will be made. Yes.
Well, put it this way: there's not many companies who, out of their first gold pour, have paid $1 million off their debt to a loan. And when we made that payment, you know, we reduced that loan to below what the principal was in terms of gold. So I knocked a big chunk of it off, and also got the company out of the default interest rate, which was a hindrance. Are we comfortable before September? Yes, I am. But obviously, you know, we've worded it such with aims. And we knew that we've had a couple of difficult months whilst we've been getting the heap leach process moving. So he has been sympathetic. I think the right word is there to what we're doing. And yeah, we've got to get it paid off. And you know, the key thing here is, look, for the amount of debt we've got compared to a lot of other companies who've come into production, it is minimal debt, but I've just got to get on. I've got to get that gold out to get it paid.
Yeah.
So yes, it is very key for me to get rid of that.
It's hugely attractive, and definitely one of the reasons I've taken quite a big position in Goldstone is the debt position, because it makes for a very exciting company going forward once obviously you're debt free. So and that leads me on to my second question, really, which is, were you to discover great things at Akrokeri, what kind of sort of mine development financing would you see going on there? Do you think it can be funded from production at Homase, or would the shareholders then go, do you know what, we need to crack on with this because it's a big opportunity, we'll release other forms of funding? Or what's your sort of feel on that?
The Akrokeri, look, you've only got to sort of read from what we were putting out in the press back in 2018 when we were going gangbusters on Akrokeri, but we just couldn't break through. Okay, as I said, it does need significant money throwing at it. Now, if with this preliminary drilling program we're doing turns the results it does, then yes, look, I'll be sitting down here with management and saying, listen, right, we can expedite this. Let's get a full drill program on, and let's look at Akrokeri as a separate investment company. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's open. We won't know until we get look, you're going to have to give us a couple of months just whilst we get this exploration behind us. Let's look at the results, and then we'll start and make decisions as to whether it could be funded from Homase. But hand on heart, I think we're going to be treating it as a separate investment case.
Great, thanks very much, Emma. That's my questions. If someone else wants to ask some more.
Hi there, Emma. This is Lee Watson here. I'm going to reiterate what Bal just said then. Congratulate you on the achievement so far, and thanks for obviously coming on the call today, and thanks to Darren for organising it. Just a couple of ones from me. You mentioned a little bit earlier about this mining conference and also a presentation that you'll be doing. So what kind of stuff does that involve? And the other thing I wanted to ask is about maybe attracting institutional investors going forward. What kind of stuff will you be doing to try and attract that money?
Yeah, I love some. Right, the mining conference in the mining world. There's a couple of key conferences that companies go to, explorers and producers. The big one, the biggest one in the world is actually in Canada. It's in Toronto. It's called the PDAC. And gosh, that conference can attract anything up to 40,000 participants. It is quite a major thing. The second one then is the Mining Indaba in South Africa. It is in Cape Town. It's normally in February, but because of COVID, everything's been pushed out. They were going to leave it to 2023, and then the organisers said, no, do you know what, we need to get this moving, so they're going to do one in May. Then there's obviously a major conferences in Australia that look after Australia and Hong Kong. And then in London, there is a big mining conference called Mines and Money that takes place in December. So there are the key conferences, like in all industries, be it hotels and leisure. Mining also have its own sector for that. Now, who goes to these conferences? Look, it's anybody from private individuals who are interested in mining to the institutions, and of course it's all your banks and your accountants and your auditors and your PR companies, all those good types that hang on. But what are the key things that need to be there is the mining companies and the governments. It's the governments of those countries that have a mining sector. So they have to present, because they have to put out what their policy is in order to attract mining companies and investors. And then obviously the mining companies obviously go to present their wares and to tell them what they're looking for when they're looking to go into countries. So it's they're all useful networking opportunities. Now you're asking about institutions coming into Goldstone. You're right. It would be nice to have some on the register. And yes, we are starting to get the attention of institutions. And who knows? As I said, if we from the key thing here is exploration. We've got production. We can prove we've got the cash flow, and it is going to contribute towards the future of this company. But if we do overturn something that's significant, then yes, we would raise money. And it may be at that opportunity, because we would have had a proven track record, that we would attract institutions to come into the company. So that's, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, no, thanks for that. And I suppose from a personal point of view, what's your long-term plan?
What's mine? You know what? When I was at mining college, I always said I wanted to run Anglo-American, but I haven't. So with the help of my lovely shareholders, it would be nice to grow a mining company. So yes, I went to mining college, so that's where my heart is.
No, that's good. No, well, thanks for that, Emma.
That's all right.
Okay, some good questions. Any other questions from any other participants in the call?
Sorry, just me again, Emma. Sorry, really quick one. Are you happy for us to share the gist of this call on a public forum?
Of course I am, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I will be doing, just to add, look, I will be getting going again. I have been rather absent, but there's reasons for that, and that's because we have all been getting stuck in down here to get this thing moving. I don't think there's many companies where a major shareholder, who is also a chairman, has spent significant time on the ground to support everybody here. And as I say to everybody, you know, the regulators come around when they do their inspections, and there's a lot of inspections. We've got a small crew. You know, we're not one of the majors, but we're all pulled together, and we've made it work. And now that we have, I can certainly now start speaking at more public forums and conferences, because, you know, we have done it, as you say. I'm not a CEO who comes on and says, we might do this, we might do that. I can now say, look, we have done it. We are now building to get a proven track record. And the next thing is to optimize on what we've got and take this company forward.
Yeah. So yeah, in terms of going forwards, then Emma, obviously, you know, obviously, yeah, you're up and running, pouring gold, generating cash flow. So I think Belle mentioned this earlier, but in terms of debt, are you looking to potentially pay that off this year, or you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I want to get rid of my debts.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
Okay. And would it be too early to start thinking about, with all that lovely free cash flow that you're going to be generating, potentially returning some of that to shareholders in the next couple of years, maybe, in terms of the dividend?
Yes. Look, that's always been my chairman's objective, and mine too. He would love to pay a dividend, and you can look back at his track record when he's done gold companies before. He has paid dividends, and that's obviously what it's all about. So I need to get debt free as soon as possible, so that I don't have to send all those kilos to pay off loans, so that we can all move forward. So yeah, that is the objective, Darren.
Sounds good. Okay. I think that's probably it. I can't see anyone else who's unmuted themselves. So if anyone does want to speak now or forever hold your peace, yeah, I think everyone else is probably going to stay quiet. So okay, well, yeah, thanks for that update, Emma. If you know, it would be useful actually to do this, you know, a few more times in the future if you're up for that.
I would love to. Look, we can, as I say, you know, every couple of months you can arrange a call. That's absolutely fine. I don't mind at all. Yeah. So long as my I haven't got a press release lurking and the nomad gives me orders not to speak. But anyway, that's fine. Okay, that's brilliant. Okay, well, thanks very much for your time then, and we'll speak again soon. Most definitely. All right. Thanks, Darren. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening.
Cheers, Emma.
Thanks, Emma.
Thanks, Darren.
Cheers.